Hey everyone, FPS Chasley here, and today we have a very special interview with developers of Modern Naval Warfare, the Maslas Bros. They were very kind to show me their video, which I'm sure you've all seen at this point, and their game looks amazingly promising. And just been chatting with them for a few minutes here, and they seem like really cool guys. So very excited to have this interview to see what they're planning for the game and what the future holds. So if you guys could introduce yourself to the viewers.
Okay, I'm Dimitris. Most of you might be members in our Discord server, so you might have already seen some of my messages. And right before me is my brother John,
Or Yanis.
or Yanis.
I'm responsible for the graphic side of the whole adventure, and we're happy to be here.
Oh, very good. All right, so I guess before we get into the game, let's talk about you guys. So, what are your guys' backgrounds in like technical work?
We mostly, in our day job, which is not building games, unfortunately, not yet at least.
Okay, yeah.
We are primarily dealing with IT systems, servers, networks, and custom software development.
Okay.
On the personal side of things, we're both fans of simulations, aircraft, ships, military history, and of course submarines.
Ah, yes, of course. I don't think anyone could make a submarine simulation unless they really love submarines.
Well, there's I heard a case once that one company decided to start and do that, but they had to drop the project halfway through.
Ah, there she blows. Oh my gosh, look at that. Yeah, I have my subcommand jewel case around here somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know whether you ever played that.
No, I never got a chance to play that, but there was a someone made a custom campaign of that for Dangerous Waters. That's pretty good.
Yes. So we are long term fans for and players of this kind of games. And at some point, we've noticed that for a great many years there was no promising modern sub warfare game coming. So we decided, well, what the hell, let's do it ourselves.
Yeah.
This packet says behind here, it says 2006. So we have 2020. It's been 14 years.
Oh yeah, I think it even came out in late 04 in the
Yes.
US
Yes.
even.
Yes.
So after all these years, we just decided that we should do something ourselves.
Very good. So have you guys always just kind of been interested in simulations and military history, or is there something that spurred that interest in your memory?
No, I think it was
From kids, huh?
yeah.
Our father, as a matter of fact, I remember growing up in my room, and there were two posters of the Panavia Tornado,
Yes.
the plane, the military aircraft. He used to work
As a
for
communication technician for this kind,
Yeah.
for the company that built the communication systems for these things.
the Tornado. Yeah.
Oh, very
And,
cool.
yeah, so we grew up actually playing simulators. With small exceptions, it was our main computer
Yeah.
subject. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. So you guys obviously have the credentials with all the game cases there. Which one are you pulling inspiration from all of these games, or which one is like in your head as like the main inspiration?
Okay, there are two. Yes, the main is probably the Sonalist's work, 688 I through Dangerous Waters. We thought was a little bit lacking for this simulations story mode, probably.
Yeah.
But this guy here,
Sid Meier.
yeah, Sid Meier.
Hmm.
That's a Sid Meier game. Yeah.
Yep.
And it had a story. It had cutscenes. It put you very very nicely into the position of the. Although it wasn't such a hardcore simulator. The most resemblance that you might find in the current market is how is it called?
Cold Waters.
Cold Waters.
Yep,
Cold
Cold
Waters
Waters.
gameplay is based on that.
Yes.
It's almost the same.
And yes, we are thinking of trying to bring some story-based single player to, apart from all other things, of course, to a hardcore environment like Dangerous Waters.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
these are our main two inspirations.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know if you guys ever played Tom Clancy's SSN. That was like another Clancy submarine game. But from what I hear, that's
a little bit arcaded.
Oh yeah. Oh, very outdated. Yeah, that's from like '97. But that was like my first submarine game.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't say outdated. I said arcadey a little bit.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, I had spoken with the developer of Cold Waters a little bit. He said that was a big inspiration for their game as well.
Yes.
Well, the first modern naval submarine simulator was 688.
Attack Sub by EA.
Attack Sub.
That's the one we played first.
It wasn't EA.
Yes, it was by.
Yes, it was EA. You know that?
So there's 688 Attack Sub, and then there's like 688 Hunter Killer, right? Those are like two separate games. Okay.
The second one was by a guest journalist, but under the EA brand.
Yeah.
But the first one was.
Look at that.
Yeah. You don't have to put everything down.
Is that a bunch of floppy disks? What is that huge case?
I love that.
Yes, it is.
Oh, and it comes with a nice whole manual and everything too.
It was together with Team Yankee. It was that was a tank simulator.
The Team Yankee, yeah, a 688 Attack Sub that was older.
Floppies.
I think that was our first, our second sim after Red Storm Rising. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so now we've gone through the history. Now we're at the present day. Would you say that the success of Cold Waters has kind of influenced your decision to pursue modern naval warfare?
To be honest, we had started researching for the matter before the release of Cold Waters.
Yes.
Okay.
We started working on that, researching mostly, which means reading tons of books and scrubbing every last information from videos, news feeds, whatever. We've started, I don't know, 2017.
Yeah, something like that.
Early 17, before we saw Cold Waters coming. And I think what pushed us to release our trailer, which we have already done the year before, was probably an announcement that Microprose is coming back.
Okay.
So we thought, okay, there is a whole stream of simulators coming to the market. I think that might attract some attention.
Yeah, we weren't very very sure about the power of the naval community, simulation community before that.
Yeah.
Microprose triggered that idea into our heads.
Yes, that they might. Yeah, but that there might be a market.
There might be a market.
Along with the announcement that the new flight simulator is coming from Microsoft, and everything just pushed us to
do this announcement, to do this trailer and show what we are thinking about.
Yeah, it's interesting how it can seem like a market's dead, and then all of a sudden a few little events happen and it can just kind of surge back. It's a weird thing.
But it seems like a wave. Too many naval simulators and naval games are coming, are close to release. I mean,
there's tons of like World War II new sims being made and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wolfpack, U-boat,
Task Force Admiral.
Task Force Admiral, the
Crush Depth, I just saw that the other day.
It seems like a new wave of naval
warfare games,
warfare
yes,
games
are coming
are
in the
coming
market.
in the market. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very exciting time for us naval
Yes.
fans. So what would you guys say is the general direction for the game? What kind of feel are you going for?
As far as Phil is concerned, I think we are
Trying to achieve this techno thriller
Yes,
feeling, that
Tom Clancy thing.
Yeah, a good Clancy book, yeah.
spy idea behind
A complex story, authentic simulation, and yes, some time spans of boredom with some very very intense times during which everything happens at the same time.
Yeah,
That's
I've
I
always
think
liked
the whole idea.
I always like to joke a good Dangerous Waters match is about 2 hours of nothing and then 30 seconds of, oh my god, a torpedo's about to hit me.
Yes, that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, in the gameplay demo I played, there's some crew members in the con. Do you plan to have this fully populated? Are crew members going to be talking to each other as the tactical situation unfolds?
The idea is that we are going to have a complete crew management system running during the gameplay, which means that as a captain, at some point you'll have to deal with long and tired, long watches and tired crewmen. There are going to be watch changes during the game. If you are in action stations or battle stations, there are going to be more people in the control room. If you are just cruising around, there are going to be less crewmen inside, and you might have an experienced sonar officer working at the sonar console at any time, and so you'll get more information, timely function, or you can get a newbie, and this guy won't be able to get you all the data as he or she should.
Yeah, someone just standing watch as opposed to being the prime battle stations person. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is going to be voice acting. There are going to be animations and visual effects, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, because most of these is the eye candy. That's not the core of the simulation, but yet I think it helps sell the immersion of the whole situation.
Oh, for sure. It sounds fascinating.
Like the spice that it was missing from Dangerous Waters. They did have a nice music engine, but I guess it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I've always kept the music turned off. I mean, it was with Dangerous Waters. I didn't really care for their music. I don't know why. That could just be because I've been playing that game for so long. But I liked Cold Water's music. I thought theirs was pretty good.
I haven't heard, to be honest. I haven't heard. I've seen walkthroughs of the game, and it seems pretty nice. I mean, if I had much time, I would play it.
I would say I think Cold Waters does AI much better than Dangerous Waters does. At least with like groups and kind of like enemy groups trying to localize on your sub and hunt you down. Yeah, in Dangerous Waters, it can just feel like a bunch of different things kind of just pushed together doing their own thing.
Yeah, I think we
maybe they didn't have any tactical. We call it tactical AI, something that they will organize the NPCs to work together for an ASW situation.
Yeah, I've heard that Dangerous Waters was used before it was released as a game, was used as like a kind of like a training simulator for cadets at like the or midshipmen at the Naval Academy to kind of get them used to how submarines work and not necessarily trying to simulate like what the AI would do, like Cold Waters, because they talked about they would go to lengths of trying to simulate Soviet naval tactics and stuff.
Yeah, they do have many sonarless contracts with the US Navy, I guess.
That makes sense.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Okay, so on the subject of the con, do you plan to let the player walk around?
That's a hot question. Yes. After many people asked for that, I think yes, we might allow them to walk around. The initial concept was not, but either way, yes, either way, we have modeled the whole con, or we're still modeling, of course, the whole con from every side, so that's not an issue right now. It's not as if we've modeled just the angle that the player currently sees. However, what we are not planning to do is model the rest of the boat.
Okay, I was about to ask about torpedo room or
Yes.
something.
That's a decision we made consciously because we are planning later on releasing several other platforms, and we decided that these platforms should be on an equal level of detail. And although we can get pretty much a lot of videos and photographs of the interior of the Virginia class, we don't have all this material for an Astute class, British Astute class, or a U-212 German one, or an Akula. So it's a little bit hard for us to get all the info that we'll need in order to model faithfully, at least, all these areas. We'll probably limit ourselves to the control room, ready room, the sonar sack if there's a separate one. Probably, obviously, in Virginia, the sonar sack is inside the control room, but most other submarines currently have a separate room for that, and a captain's quarters room where you manage your crew.
Yeah, that sounds really good. That sounds like the idea of the watches and the battle stations sounds really cool to me because I guess pretty much like the captain would only usually be on the con, I guess, during battle stations. Otherwise, he's usually doing some kind of paperwork or something.
The fun stuff.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I don't want to get too much in the weeds here. If I start getting too detailed, just let me know. I know it's it's pretty early on in the development process.
The problem is that as long as you ask, we are going to answer.
maybe we are improvising also. We might be improvised. Then we have to make sure that whatever we say it has to be done.
Yeah. I guess this is why usually they have PR people do these kinds of things, isn't it? All right, so let's get into, I guess, some more technical stuff. The sound model. Now, Dangerous Waters is renowned for its sound, its sonar. You can take that in several ways. I think most people generally refer to that as how many buttons you can push in the station. Because when you peel back the layers of how their sound model works, it's rather simplistic. It's really just you have two things this far away, and it just basically like adds in multipliers if there's like a muddy bottom or like a noisy ocean top. Or so what's your guys' plan for the sonar modeling?
To be honest, we had initial discussions about doing a real ray tracing system for that. But we need to weigh that against the real gameplay situations, against the amount of data we need for the underwater environment, the amount of GIS data we need, salinity information, how detailed will be the various variations, the variations between temperature every 1 meter, every 10 meters. And I think this
addition the processing power.
Yes,
because it's not only your sonar.
Yes. Yeah, eventually you'll need an oceanographer PhD on staff and a supercomputer to do all this.
So yes, you have to cheat
as is always during game development.
You have to see to make things
Uh,
look correctly.
I think a better word might be clever.
So
we are trying to implement a more, let's say, hybrid system that would allow us an acceptable level of performance and still model things like the deep sound channel, convergent zones, probably some multi-static sonar systems, and all these more complicated stuff instead of I'm 50 meters away. How do I sound like? But I don't think we'll get to the point to get a real ray tracing system. It's not feasible with current hardware at the moment.
It would definitely be something to. It would definitely be something interesting. I'm sure you could probably write a research paper afterwards if you implemented it.
nothing is if this project is going to be released, updates will come later. I mean, you never know.
Yes.
We are trying to make it as modular as it's possible. So the sound system, the sound engine.
First of all, that's to be honest, that's our highest priority at the moment. The graphics part, the network part, we have all these laid out. So the biggest single piece of development we have to do is the sound propagation model.
Even if it's going to be simplistic for starts, it's going to be a module in the whole platform,
and
which means that it can be developed in the future ray tracing, let's say, mechanism or ray tracing sound propagation system, that it will
be far more complicated
and replace the older simplistic sound model.
By simplistic, of course, we don't mean that it's a simple noise moving in a straight line kind of way.
As we said, it will be at least as good as it was on Dangerous Waters.
And that's our simplest model we'll get initially. Especially on this part, we are looking after the model that Eagle Dynamics, what Eagle Dynamics did with their DCS and Locom series. They started with a very simple flight model. Then they added the advanced flight model, and then eventually all the models that they are currently releasing use what they call the professional flight model, which is far more complicated. And they developed the whole system throughout the years. That's the idea behind our plan, at least.
Cool. Well, speaking of DCS, do you plan to kind of maybe go after their system eventually where you get modules, you can buy a sub or a ship or something like that?
Yes, that's the idea. That's what we're planning. The initial release is the base world, one single map, and the Virginia class as a playable platform. And then you could buy extra areas,
Scenery packs,
additional platforms, navies that you can use on your mission editor.
Planes?
Yes, it's all gonna be modular.
Very cool. So, as you know, with Dangerous Waters, you can kind of pick anywhere in the world to play, but the terrain is rather chunky. So, is your plan with selling specific regions to get those really detailed? Not like a DCS thing, because you're not going to see that in a submarine, but get like some nice detail to the underwater topography.
Yes, I want from the long line of books we read in order to make to do the research for the whole game. There was a book where they presented how a British sub, one of the Trafalgar class, use a small underwater canyon, which is right outside Scotland, in order to make rapid transits, very similar to what they showed in Hunt for the Red October.
Yep.
And
Rest
I
in peace,
thought,
Sean Connery.
yes, and I thought, okay, we should do something like that. In order to do, of course, something like that, you need very detailed underwater maps. And yes, our hopes is that by actually delivering small chunks of playable areas, we can stack up the detail very high, so you can have fun around small islands, underwater ridges, and get advantage of all this topography to hide in.
All right, so getting back to the game, more technical. I know you had mentioned, Demetrius, in the Discord that you were planning for a more complex buoyancy model for the boats. Could you get into that hydrodynamics?
Yes, that is correct. The whole thing started. The whole idea about using physics to move the sub came from the idea that most submarine games, they didn't have actually some interest in piloting the ship, the boat. It was just an interface that it had a few fields. You put the bearing, the depth, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the heading. Yeah, and I mean everybody wants to know that I push the handle, the helm, and I move 9,000 tons of a boat.
Yeah.
You have to feel that. You have to feel that. Additionally, physics help in many more situations, like crashes and damages, and how the hull will respond on these damages and crashes between other ships or the surface of the sea.
Sea bottom.
The sea bottom.
Or the fact that you probably can land the diesel boat, put a diesel boat on the seafloor, because you won't be able to do that.
Use that as a tactic.
Mhm.
Yeah. And of course, the weapons are going to use also physics to move ahead. That helps a lot on calculating speeds and distances in a more accurate way, or maybe in a more inaccurate way, because it's different when the sea level, in the sea level there is bad weather, and the enemy is moving around from the bad weather, from the bad sea. You will have some difficulties in making target assumptions of the enemy and sending correctly the torpedo to its position. The TMA will have a hard time on situations like that. So physics, I guess, will help. Buoyancy and hydrodynamics will help the game to be more accurate on this stuff.
Cool. I remember in Subcommand, if you would watch the 3D model ordering a course, it would pretty much just be like, just like on rails, just like completely.
And that's what I hated the most, to be honest. In most submarine games, it was like that. You didn't have the feeling that something's big. It's really turning, or diving, or something like that.
Now, Dangerous Waters, I think, did a pretty good job of it, though, because you can, like, if you order a course change at like 15 knots and then slow down, you will overshoot your course change because the momentum of the boat will pull it around. So, are you guys familiar with how Dangerous Waters does it, and how will yours be different from theirs?
I guess it was scripted, something like that. It wasn't the real physics behind that.
Well, a little bit behind the production now, trivia is that we are at the moment having very much fun with the turn rates of the various ships and boats. We put them on. Yeah, we set the course and we start turning them around and see how they react, the way they turn, if they can match the order heading. It's very fun. I think most players will enjoy it when it comes out.
And believe it or not, it also helps for the AI, the pilot, the AI of the pilot station, the helm, to be a little more realistic, because the pilot will have to adjust the boat based on the position that and the drift that it has from the physics. The AI will not set a course or a depth, and the ship will just go there, bam, like a number, but it will actually do what the player would do.
Mm.
Would turn the planes,
The rudder,
play with ballast tanks if he has to, and dive the boat. That's what the AI would do in our current situation. So physics will make look better if the pilot it's not an experienced one. You're gonna see that. You're gonna see that he will lose it somehow at some point from the more experienced.
And then you'll have to snap at him to be like, keep that course.
Yes, or something like that. He would easily drift out the course of the navigator, let's say,
or broach in bad weather.
Yeah.
During I don't know, at periscope depth, for example.
Yeah, that would be an interesting part to then have to factor in. Another reason to not go to periscope depth is that how experienced is your helm driver?
Yes.
Yeah, on hovering, let's say, or something like that.
Cool. So going back, I'm just going to tie this back to crew management. Are you going to have to actively, if you wish, as a player, train up crew members to do certain positions on the boat? Like, okay, I only have 2 sonarmen. Should I try and get more crewmen to train as the sonar man?
We had this discussion yesterday.
Yes, but I'm not sure we're going to do it yet. We haven't decided. The whole idea is that that's not the work of the captain, anyhow.
That's true.
Yes. So you're supposed to get full complement when you leave the dock or your home base, and all the training is done within the ranks. Usually, chief of the boat is the man responsible, if I'm not wrong, for this kind of work. What you'll get, however, is during the training scenario is that you are going to be the one who's getting trained, and you'll probably be running around with the qualification card on your pocket, trying to get past each station and get your signs and fill your qual card, and then get your, hopefully by end of the training scenario, get your dolphins.
However, experienced crew, the crew will gain experience while you are passing missions and moving further to the campaign. So, and and maybe someone who would choose to play the campaign in an easier level, he will have a better and more experienced crew from the start to play with. That's the idea. Now, if in a mission one of your crew gets injured, and you go back to the base and you have to replace him
or her,
then you might get an inexperienced sailor replacement, officer. So you have to start again with him and put him in the position to get the experience that your former crew had, and that will give some level of realism and difficulty into the managerial part of the game.
Cool. Okay, so that made me think back to like crew management and battle stations. So when you're in, is your okay? Let's start higher up. In a campaign, are you going to be always in the submarine for like the South China Sea area map, or will you have like an overview type look until you then get into a tactical situation? Have you guys discussed this?
Yes.
Yes, we have. Now you're getting a little bit deep on
Okay.
how the game.
Because it was making me think about that, where you have just like normal watch versus battle stations. Like once you go into normal watch, you then go back into like some kind of transit time lapse mode, and then battle stations is in the tactical, like the tactical play area.
Okay, we don't want to get very much into detail here, but I'll simply say that the amount of time you're on patrol will play its part on how rested, how tired, or how willing the crew is to follow your orders and do their job right. So. The whole thing will get to a point where you've got tired sailors or bored sailors or none so willing to do what you tell them to do. But apart from that, again, we cannot get at the moment into more details on how this is going to play out.
Okay, just leave me hanging. All right, let's get into. I guess let's briefly touch on battle damage. This is from one of my viewers, Schrodinger Cat. He wants to know what your battle damage system will be like in the game if you've gotten that far yet.
We've gotten there is a complete system of damage modeling. You, as a player, are going to have damage systems for your sub. You might have the enemy is going to have systems that might be damaged because, as you know, big ship nowadays like destroyer or cruiser, even if it's hit by a harpoon or an exocet or something similar, it won't get completely destroyed. But the radar might be out, the fire control might be out. So we are modeling different parts of the different systems that are working together, and some of them might be damaged, under repair, or completely destroyed.
Okay.
With all of them affecting the effectiveness of the whole system, of the whole craft, vessel, boat, sub, whatever.
Okay. And do you plan to have like maybe like an easy battle damage versus a realistic battle damage with respect to like time to repair or something like that?
We haven't yet touched we haven't dived deep enough on how the level of difficulty are going to be. Yes, but I guess at some point we'll have to add some features like that. That
As a general idea, we want to use as a level of difficulty. We want to use the ability and the capabilities of the AI, the experience of the crew. I mean, an easier game will be to have an experienced crew. A difficult game, it will be to have a crew that is on its first sail.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna try to use this factor in order to make the game simpler and more difficult in stages, instead of putting settings to remove realism from various parts of the game, or to make the progress faster in some situations, like damaging, as you said before.
Okay.
We will try that. It might help. It might not. I don't know. I don't know yet. I cannot tell. It might help on mission design too. That idea.
Okay. All right, let's talk about I think multiplayer. Dangerous Water still has a pretty decent multiplayer community, but it's known for having pretty sketchy at best multiplayer. So I wanted to know like how much support you guys plan to give to multiplayer. How will This doesn't really apply to me. I'm not really interested in playing with random people, but I'm sure there will be people out there who want to play with other people. Will there be like a matchmaking system or like a karma system?
First of all, we are investing a lot as far as multiplayer is concerned because let's be honest, everybody wants a multi-station Subsim, and yes, Dangerous Waters was pretty limited on this aspect. Our engine is already it's a cloud-based engine, so yes, you can have several people manning from all over the world various parts of your submarine, or manning an enemy submarine. And our initial ideas is that we're having a friends system, so you'll have your group of friends that
you can make requests.
Yes, assign them separate stations to each person, one or more stations, because if there are only three guys playing at controlling a single sub, probably you'll need most of them do more than one job, handle the sonar and the radar, or the TMA and fighter control and weapon control at the same time. And what we are going to add compared to Desert Waters is that you don't need to just have one single sonarman. You can have in a Virginia class more than 2 or 3 people manning the sonars at the same time.
They could track many targets
Yes.
together.
That sounds great. I wanted to ask about that. If you're going to have like multiple sonar men, multiple tracking party members, that would be really cool.
Yes. Now, look, this comes along with the fact that our environment is going to be filled with civilian traffic and marine life and stuff. We are making a living world for you to play in, so it won't be just you and the target. So in most cases, you'll probably need either the help of the AI or the help of a friend in order to clean up all the mess of contracts you're going to have in your broadband waterfall.
Yeah, that sounds great. Sounds awesome because it can get very overwhelming just having just one person at these stations trying to do everything. That's cool. So the ocean is a big place. Will you factor that into how much civilian traffic there is somewhere? So like the middle of the South China Sea versus being in near Malaysia or Vietnam or something like that.
What you'll get is a plausible system with the main traffic that passes through each area during a year's time. So it will be pretty much realistic on what is really happening. It won't be the actual traffic, of course, but it will be pretty close to what really happens every day at this particular place that we are going to play at any moment.
So like shipping, like typical shipping lanes and like where fishing boats usually go, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, we are gathering GIS data.
Okay, cool. On multiplayer again, you may have mentioned this in the Discord, Demetrius, but multiplayer campaigns, will that be a thing? Like, can you have a system where you can play with friends in a campaign, or you can do your own campaign and invite friends in, and then maybe they leave and you keep playing?
Yes. Yes to both questions. Yes. The main campaign is going to be, you are going to have the option to play it in co-op.
Yes.
As long as you have invited friends to your friend list, and they are online, while you are going to play a mission, you're gonna have the option to call them and assign them to a station or to more than one station, as John said before. So yes, co-op is an option, and additionally, we're planning to create a web-based mission editor, which is going to be also a campaign editor. So someone who is a registered player for MNW can create a campaign with various missions.
Sicilian Wedding 3, for example.
Something like that. And since it is online, the whole campaign is given to.
It's accessible
by his own choice, of course, to everyone or to his friends. And there is a collaboration between mission designing in that way.
Okay.
So you could make a mission, and your friends could check out what you've done and make maybe some changes and give you some ideas. And all this whole thing is synced with the actual game.
Cool. So is there like a pros cons kind of thing to having a mission editor being online versus in the game, or is it all pros in your opinion?
There will be a quick mission editor inside the game for fast skirmishes and fast games, fast missions, for some versuses and something like that. But the basic, the big editor is going to be only web.
Yes,
Okay.
The pros on that is that you can serve very easily stuff. It will get upgraded along with the game. So you'll have all the updated specs and platforms inside. As we upgrade the base game, you'll get the whole thing ready for the mission editor right away.
It's not connected to the immediate to the game engine, so
yes,
someone without a supercomputer or a gaming computer with just a laptop somewhere in his work, he can start designing missions for MMW. That's
we think that the pros are more than the cons in this case.
Okay. Some people may say that if you have like a web-based thing, there could be a point in time where whatever server's hosting that goes away, and then you can't make missions anymore. Is that something you've considered?
We have. I'm sorry.
We love the community because we are members of the community. If we get to that point,
we're gonna give it open source.
Yes, I promise you guys will either make a standalone version you can download or leave the project open source for somebody else to host.
But for those who might fear that, I'm telling you that the whole file system of the missions,
open source for the mission editor.
Yeah, for the mission editor, open source. Yeah. But even if, okay, let's just say that this is not going to happen. Okay. so the missions are going to be saved on a human readable form, and the mission editor will have the option to export the missions. Everyone or everybody who thinks that this idea is not good will have the option to create his own mission editor by creating the same file. Of course, his own mission editor won't have the ability of collaboration that ours has, but the mission will work. So somehow we do not leave them like that. Yeah, they will have the option to create their own mission editor.
Cool. Yeah, kind of their collaboration online editor kind of sounds like a Steam community kind of thing where you can like post your missions and have other people download them and that kind of thing.
Yes,
something like that.
Okay, another one that will be a hot topic, I think, is graphics requirements. So, what kind of demands of a system do you think you guys will be aiming for?
That's a trap. That's a trap question. You know why? Because if I say something about that, then you can guess. Okay. If they ask that big, then maybe the game will be out that day. Maybe you can foresee when the game will be released.
We cannot guarantee that we'll play on the simplest systems out on the market. It's a simulator after all.
You're gonna need a gaming PC.
Yes, but we are not talking about Flight Simulator 2020 levels here. No, you won't need the top high-end system your money can buy just to play with 12 frames per second. I think we'll get with a medium-level gaming PC
with a better graphics card.
A medium-level gaming PC.
Gaming PC.
Yes,
yeah.
I think we'll do finally.
Okay. Something I'd always thought about was in like a. This doesn't really apply to Western subs as much because they tend to operate alone, but would you foresee like a system where you could be like, if you're in a multiplayer match, your sub isn't doing much, could you switch to another sub that might be like closer to the action or something?
That's an idea. We haven't think about it.
I don't know whether it's a good idea.
Yes, but
Match cheating might happen on that.
Yes. Oh, yeah, because if you had this kind of option, you could have two subs in different headings or different locations. Just make a track from one side, make a track to the other side, and calculate the distance to the target. Yes.
You cannot guarantee that there is not going to be cheating on that.
Okay,
We
yeah.
will try.
Makes sense. So Dangerous Waters has a vibrant modding community. Do you guys plan to embrace modding with open arms?
Oh, that's a big discussion.
We
Again, we want to go like DCS does somehow.
we had many discussions on that. Since the whole thing is going to run multiplayer, we have to somehow guarantee that one modder won't something that is super powerful and super cool and will do everything better than everything else. That's one factor we had to consider. The second thing, yes, the second thing was that's not really matter because it's a mod, so everybody might make a mod and different levels of quality. But the second thing is that we wanted to make, we're looking how to make a mechanism on how you could act your own content, and that's be both easy and usable for designers and modelers and stuff. I don't think we'll have all the modding tools from campaign and mission design from the first release, but some stuff eventually are going to come. We do want to release some tools. The modding community did some amazing stuff with the Dangerous Waters. All these updates, they made a far better game than it was initially. What was initially released. Not only campaigns and the missions and the several boats and the models. And I think yes, we would like people to have the ability to do the same with us. But we want it to be done correctly, so we'll have to prepare ourselves the best possible tools for that.
Yeah, it could get very complicated very quickly, but I think in DCS you have the option of like forcing people to use the stock game to play a match, like forcing persistence or whatever you want to call it.
Yes, that's the idea at the moment. That probably for multiplayer matches, the host will have the option to just select only official released packages to be allowed.
Yeah, and I know Arma is pretty robust with their modding system where you can say the server has like these mods enabled and you need like these mods to join the server.
Well,
yes.
That Arma, it's not that a hardcore sim.
That's true, and it's also different when you're like a soldier on the ground with vehicles and stuff. There's many more things to mess around with than on a submarine.
It's not very difficult to make a modding system for such a game. Our situation differs in many angles.
Okay. Okay. And then there's another question I had from my friend Doug Ghost Dog. He also has a YouTube channel. So he wants to know what has been the most challenging aspect of the simulation process to you guys so far.
Development-wise.
What's that?
You mean in the development process?
Yes, in the development process. So, like, what I guess what has been the hardest, or what will be the hardest to simulate that you guys foresee?
Sound
Yeah.
propagation is the hardest.
Yeah, the sound propagation model, in order to do it right, I think, and do it right and correctly and efficiently, I think it's the hardest part. We do have the graphics side, we do have the network side, and I think sound propagation.
There's a difference between time-consuming and hard. If we are talking about hard, yes, it's the sound.
Okay.
Time consuming, yes. Then it's adding all these small details, cities, harbors, whatever stuff in the whole design. But that's routine stuff. It's not really difficult
to design or to make a thought or to project when they will finish and how they're going to be done. Yes. You know that they need this amount of time in order to be done, and they will be done.
But the sound propagation model is far more complicated, and in order to do it correctly, yes, it's I think the hardest part we have right now.
Difficult research.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, people get PhDs just in sound propagation in an ocean.
Yes, the latest paper we've got, it's something like 150 pages, just equations.
Yeah.
I'm an engineer, and that sounds horrible.
Yes.
And then just one more question regarding time frame. Do you guys plan to keep the modern time frame, or are you considering other time frames too, like maybe Cold War, early Cold War?
I think early Cold War has very few differences compared to World War II. Most of the sonar systems on the Nautilus were identical with the late U.S. fleet boats.
Let me rephrase that to more like mid Cold War, so like Cuban Missile Crisis 70s kind of time frame.
Yes, we were thinking at some point, but that will be far into the future, moving backwards in time, releasing 688s, improved, then some earlier 688s, late Sturgeons, some Alpha class, Victor 2s. Yes, well, there is no point in planning nuclear sub. In ballistic one.
In this call, they've been asking many people about Typhoon.
Oh yeah, that's another question. So you guys also, I don't believe playing as an SSBN is interesting. You're pretty much just trying to hide.
Yes, you're moving 2 to 3 knots all day, every day, trying to hide from everything, from everybody.
Yeah, in the middle of the ocean where the nearest ship is like 1,000 miles away or something.
I loved the Typhoon class. They were amazing. Ohio's are amazing. The British Vanguards are amazing, but there is no real gameplay for this kind of game. Of course, if anybody wants to spend 3 months of of his life online waiting for the patrol to finish, yes, we might add that.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of minor things I'd love to go over, but that's not really relevant at this point in time. I see you've been sketching there, Giannis. What have you been drawing?
Mostly submarines.
Yeah, I sometimes draw submarines just on like graph paper just to get like a sense of the scale of them. And it's just when you do that, it's insane how big like a Typhoon is, like next to like a 688i. It's just so enormously huge.
And then you get to some diesel boats, and they are very, very, very small.
Yeah, like the Type 212 might be half the size of a Virginia or something.
Do you have any idea on 214?
Yes.
Where is the quarters of the seamen placed?
No, I don't. It's probably in the torpedo room or something. Right?
They have a system that it opens the space between the con and the torpedo tubes, and there are the torpedoes there, and they actually, when they are on battle stations, the torpedoes are covering the quarters of the seamen.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
And
when they go to battle stations, they have to move the torpedoes out to be able to be loaded, basically.
Yeah, no, they
Cannot sleep.
They cannot sleep.
Yeah.
They have nowhere to sleep.
Ugh. So you'll have like 8 hours of battle stations, and you gotta secure and move everything before you can go to sleep.
That's small.
And the Type 214 is a little bit bigger than 212.
Yes, and the 214 is bigger than
All right, well, I think that's about everything I had. We covered a lot of ground. Is there anything else you guys would like to add?
Keep up with us.
Yeah, if we want to add, I hope that what we are making right now will people are going to like it as much as we do and have fun. We really hope that we'll keep this thing running for many years. We're not aiming for a 1 year release and then we're gone. We hope that we make a nice ecosystem with a base game and things added up later on. And we'll hope that this will continue to evolve and better itself for many years to come.
We'll work on Nintendo Switch.
All right, well, very good. I think that is everything. Thank you guys so much for doing this interview with me. It's been a great conversation.
Yes,
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
All right, well, I wish best of luck to you in your negotiations with your publisher that you're working with.
Thank you. We hope we have
That's
news
soon enough.
Yes.
Yeah, just hold on. Hold on a little more.
Yep.
Okay.
And I hope we can talk again soon because this was a lot of fun.
Yes, we hope also, and maybe a little bit later, some more multiplayer games together.
That would be great. That would be fantastic.
Nice.
All right. Well, thank you again, Demetrius and Giannis.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
All right. And viewers, we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. And as always, good hunting.